now the desperate parents of 32 child hostages snatched by Hamas last night pleaded with the terror group to release them. They're being held in the network of tunnels under Gaza, and The Sun is today publishing the names and photos of all 32 innocent children, backing the pleas of their distraught families with "Please free our kids."
Well, we're now joined by Sun reporter Robin Perrie, who wrote this story. He's live in Jerusalem for us today. A powerful front page, Robin.
Absolutely. I mean, it struck us as something that was a message that we desperately needed to get across. The families of all the hostages want them released as soon as possible, but the children in particular, the message from those families and those campaigning for them is that, you know, the children have no role in this at all. They're innocents. They're not soldiers, not connected with any conflict. The families wanted to get across the message that they should be released immediately.
It is a shocking front page, Robin, and I'm so grateful for you joining us. You've obviously spoken to several families, and this will probably sound like an inane question. I don't know if you're a parent. Nick's about to be one. I've got kids. I don't know how you would deal with something. Your child in a labyrinth of tunnels being sat with terrorists with guns in the middle of this awful, awful conflict.
Absolutely, they're struggling to get through each day. They really are. They don't really know how they are managing to get through each day. A lot of them are kind of coping by sort of campaigning. They're throwing themselves into the effort to try and make sure that their hostages aren't forgotten and remain a priority in what is obviously an increasing Israeli bombardment of Gaza each day. And I met one parent, a father of 3 children who have been taken with their mother. I met him in Tel Aviv, and he at a permanent sort of protest camp that's been set up by a busy road, and he stressed that the only way he's coping is by just campaigning all day long. That's the only way he can get through this.
And Robin, you've obviously been speaking to many of these families and parents. What are their feelings towards specifically Netanyahu and the Israeli military's attacks on Gaza, and the fact
knowing that the kids are there,
knowing that their children are there, that they're being held hostage, and also the fact that Netanyahu took 3 weeks to meet with these families?
There's a split opinion. Some of them don't want to engage in that political aspect, but a lot of them are concerned that in Israel's committed attempt to challenge and deal with Hamas, they are very worried that their loved ones may get forgotten. The main thrust of their campaign is that whatever the Israeli government and army feel they need to do, they want to make sure that their loved ones don't get forgotten, because that is a major concern for them.
And therein, I think, lies the real shocking part of your front page this morning, and so important to do it. Innocent kids, innocent, naive young kids stuck in the middle of this, taken, let's not forget this, by a terrorist group, taken hostage, young kids. There they are. There's the 32 of them. Israel vowing revenge. We're going to get our hostages back. And I think that question from Nick, Robin, is absolutely spot on. If I was a parent, I would want my kid home, but I would be looking at what was happening, and I'd be thinking, are they going to be able to survive? It's just a horrible, horrible position for any parent to be in.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And I think that's summed up best by the plight of the youngest one. Kafia is the 9-month-old baby. I mean, you know, it's inconceivable to most of us that anyone might take children hostages, but imagine taking a baby hostage. Kafia is 9 months old, and his family told us that he's a little baby that loves hugs, and he just started crawling. And Kafia had just started crawling and has now been held underground in this network of tunnels. It's just impossible to imagine the plight that all of these children are going through.
And Robin, how do we get intelligence from within Gaza about where the children are being kept? Obviously, it's been widely reported, including by yourself, that they're being kept in these tunnels. How do we actually know that?
there's no official information coming out publicly that we're aware of. The families say they've had no communication. Their last communications with their families were when these families sent desperate text messages on the morning of October the 7th to loved ones elsewhere in Israel to report that terrorists were breaking into their homes. But videos have then emerged from Hamas fighters of them being kidnapped and of them being held in these tunnels. So these have emerged on social media channels. Telegram is one that is commonly used. And that obviously adds to the horrific ordeal for the families that they've got to endure seeing their loved ones incredibly traumatised, incredibly stressed. And they hate to have to look at these pictures when they emerge, but at least that's one tiny little bit of proof that they're still alive. But of course, these pictures haven't emerged of all the hostages. Just one or two have come out, which is, as I say, is incredibly distressing. But I guess it's one tiny crumb of comfort, however crazy that might sound, that they are still alive.
Robin, really, really appreciate you joining us live from Jerusalem. Robin Perrie, an astonishingly frightening but brilliant piece of journalism. Front page of The Sun this morning. 32 innocent children snatched by terrorists. This is why Israel must fight the evil of Hamas. Innocent kids in tunnels. You see it there on screen. More of that coming up. Thank you to Robin Perrie.